All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. This is the NGS Season 3 SemiFinals. This is the Division C Eastern side of the bracket. Tonight, playing is going to be Uncomfortably Numb up against the Winston Churchill Manatees. And joining me today for the very first time, been waiting all season long, it is ghostDunk. How you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty great. How you doing, Murda?
Rocking it out. I've been waiting all week to cast this match. I got to see the other side of the bracket last week in the quarterfinals, and I was like, hey, let's try to cast some of this Eastern side. I'm so stoked, man.
Yeah, this is going to be a pretty intense side here. Winston Churchill Manatees, of course, just coming off a huge upset against number 1 seed Ripon and the Terrans, so pushing through that bracket, and Uncomfortably Numb looking just as strong as ever. So these are two very dynamic teams that we're going to be casting here.
Yeah, and I think that upset last week was very unexpected. Ripon and the Terran was really ripping through Division C East all season long, and these boys came in with a not so great record. I believe only 3-7 in the regular season, and they were able to take, and it was actually 3 wins, 7 ties, 0 losses, but they were able to come through and win that matchup unbelievably so. Looks like we have someone joining the server. I got a kick. Waiting on the R's. Looks like we are ready, so I'm going to launch this bad boy.
Nice. Yeah, very cool. Yeah, Winston Churchill Manatees, I think a big part of their reformation in beating Ripon, they went through kind of a roster swap. So they had somebody different on tank and sort of moved people around, and they found success with that.
Yeah, I think I heard about that as well. I wish I could pinpoint exactly who it was for you guys watching, but they...
Not a roster swap, a role swap, excuse me.
Oh, role swap. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do see, looking at the Zadolv trademark reports, looks like there's been a lot of movement all over the place in terms of who heals for this team on the side of Uncomfortably Numb.
Yeah, and not only heals, but who's been offlaning. I think we had the sort of range DPS move into tank. We had the offlaner move to more of a melee assassin. We had the person who was playing tank, I think, move to a different role as well. So it was kind of a all over the place here.
Absolutely. And for all of you watching out there, there is one banned for tonight. It is Sonya. I believe we're still allowed to pick her, but you're not allowed to take the block talent at level 1. So if Sonya does come into play, keep that in mind.
Yeah, so we'll have to handle that if and when it comes up. But we're going to look at the bans here. My Ev being banned out immediately. I don't think Uncomfortably Numb is really ready to play my Ev yet. I don't know if any of them have been practicing her, but they just don't want to see her. And we're going to see what comes out here. I'd be interested to see if it's a Genji ban here, because I don't think either team really plays that much Genji.
Yeah, I didn't see too much Genji on the reports. Obviously, very strong hero. This is Dragonshire. He can hop between lanes pretty quick, especially for ganking that top lane is super helpful. Tracer, another hero that can almost do the same thing.
Yeah, Tracer being banned out immediately here. Uncomfortably Numb found great success in not quite an upset because they were a higher seed, but in my personal estimation, I felt that they proved to be very strong against Onslaught, who was really strong early on, and they did it exclusively with Mouth Tracer both games.
Absolutely. First picks here, looking at the side of Uncomfortably Numb and what their impact heroes have been. The most impactful all season long has been that Greymane, played by Kiknaz. So we'll see if that's where they want to go with their first pick, but throughout the entire season, that's been one of their strongest heroes.
Yeah, so Greymane obviously has got a very... it just really works in every situation. But I have seen him being saved towards the second or third rounds of picks instead of being taken right up top.
Yeah, and actually, sorry, it looks like Famous also plays the Greymane, but instead it's going to be ETC. And who's going to play the ETC? It might be Famous, because looking at this report up against Onslaught, he played the ETC twice, and they got both those wins, so that could be where they want to go.
Yeah, it looks like... who is it? Famous. It might just be their Greymane player and their tank otherwise. I'm not sure. This looks like a sort of a role swap. Maybe he's their ETC player.
Yeah, a little bit all over the place, but we'll try to keep it all locked in. There we're going to see my favorite hero, Dahaka, dropping in the first pick over here for Winston Churchill Manatees, and they're going to pair it along with a Malfurion.
Yeah, Malfurion, a very good healer right now, probably top. I've heard people say that he's absolutely broken at this point in this current meta. Dahaka, of course, on Dragonshire, always nice to have a global advantage. Dahaka is probably one of the best heroes to have that global advantage with.
Oh yeah, Dahaka always a beast, and being able to provide an opportunity just to hop in that bot lane if four people from the opposing team are there, you know someone's top, you burrow in, make that 5v4 happen. A huge impactful hero if played correctly, and obviously it's going to come up to who can control the field, and Dahaka will do that. Now we're going to see Greymane and Leoric. What do you think about these picks?
Leoric is going to be good probably into the Dahaka and whoever else they pick up. It depends really on the engage, but Leoric's going to be able to sort of step up, and there's not a whole lot they can do really against him with the Dahaka and the other tank. It's going to have to force them into somebody that is sort of higher mobility, and they have to deal with the spooky skeleton past 13-16. So they're going to probably want to comp into an earlier composition, I think.
Absolutely, and this is already shaping up to look a lot like what they were running last week against Onslaught. Having this Leoric, especially up against the Dahaka, I do like that matchup for Leoric. I think if he's hitting properly, it can be beneficial to them. He has plenty of wave clear to match Dahaka. And the Greymane, always great hero, super versatile. He can be in and out of fights. He provides plenty of poke with his cocktail, and if he wants to go into any extra range, it's possible. But Greymane's always just a safe pick, and the only thing to worry about, though, is with Malfurion on the other side. Anytime he wants to dive in, that Twilight Dream is just going to be waiting for him.
Yeah, and I think the Leoric might be a decent engage after that. Leoric gets that ghost form onto Malfurion that lowers the impact that Twilight Dream is going to have on the team. Yeah,
no, that's true. I do like Leoric just to set up a wombo potential if they want to go into the Entomb. Having the ETC, you might even look at a stage dive later on in the game. You can split the ETC out on this map, which is a lot of fun.
Yeah, you could be looking at a lot of Entomb wombo combos here on the side of Uncomfortably Numb, especially against the Malfurion, who doesn't have a ton of burst healing. If he does have a weakness, it is the fact that he can't stop things like a Kel'Thuzad.
So we saw a Stukov ban there, which I think is odd because I don't think Uncomfortably Numb played one Stukov the entire season. Maybe there's a couple on here, but it's definitely not one of their priority healers. It does pair very nicely with Leoric. You get it in the Entomb, you get the silence in there with it. It's great. But I don't see it as one of their like most played healers here. I think Uther is definitely one of them, and I would have probably liked to see the Uther ban.
True. Although I'm wondering if Stukov maybe accentuates the would work well against what Winston Churchill Manatees is trying to run.
Yeah, that's very, very possible as well. And then we do see a Kerrigan ban, and kind of for the same reasons. Kerrigan, I'm wondering exactly why that was banned, but maybe they have more insight into Winston Churchill than we do.
Well, looking at the sort of the report here, they've had a lot of luck here with Kerrigan. They went through Rippin and the Terran in both games. It was Locke who played an amazing Kerrigan in both of those games, so they could be looking at that game specifically.
Oh, yeah, you are right looking at it. It does say Kerrigan on both those matches, so they're doing something right with Kerrigan, so probably good scouting there. Now we're going to see a Li Ming and a Diablo. We can see a big boy Diablo hopping in and Li Ming.
Yeah, I like the Diablo here because whoever they take to pair with Leoric, I think, is going to be susceptible to Diablo's devilish machinations, as it were. And you got the Li Ming here, which is going to provide an excellent poke, which you're going to need in a combination with like Diablo and Dahaka, where you're really just looking to pull somebody out or get that one tongue. She could just sort of sit back and poke and provide a lot of damage.
Absolutely. I think the only thing missing now for Winston Churchill is some really good sustained damage. I think there's plenty of healers available that can do that. You can even look at something like a Lunara if they wanted to. There's plenty of heroes out there. But I think they're going to need a little bit of that going into the last pick. Over here for Uncomfortably Numb, they definitely need their healer, obviously. There's the Uther, which I projected, and they're going to go with Hanzo.
Oh, grab the Lunara. Grab it now.
Yeah, I think Lunara would be fantastic up against Uther. He has so much trouble healing all that poison damage. And like I said, they really need some sustain. And in my opinion, that's the best hero they're going to get right now.
Oh, absolutely. And especially into a poke hero like Li Ming, Uther is going to have a tough time dealing with all of that and just keeping things up. That's a really odd choice of heal. I would have actually preferred like a Lucio.
Yeah, Lucio would have been good. I mean, I guess they're looking at just the D shield onto Greymane, but again, like you kind of leave yourself open, especially to having the Lunara. They could even go Nazebo; it'd be almost as bad. There's just a lot of different routes they can go here.
Yeah, that Greymane is gonna have to play crazy nuts to have to deal with like an ETC Leoric. It's really gonna be about who ETC can isolate, while Leoric I think is gonna be sort of a wall tank and trying to keep the rest of the team out while ETC takes care of somebody perhaps.
Yep, and so 2 seconds. We'll see what they're gonna go with here. Do they listen to the casters? They do not. Instead, it's a Tychus, which Tychus is always good up against the double warrior front, so not terrible. I obviously would have liked to see the Lunara. She still gets a giant killer as well, but nonetheless, it is Tychus. The teams are ready after the draft here in game number 1. This is going to be Dragonshire. We're going to have a little loading screen, and we'll be right into the action. What are your impressions here? Who do you think is going to win this match, Ghost?
I've got to give, if I'm just looking at the draft and not anybody specifically, I got to give it to Winston Churchill Manatees. They've got the Malfurion, which is sort of the superior at the moment, into an Uther, which really is kind of rough, especially with a Hanzo Greymane. On the side of Uncomfortably Numb, they really want to blow somebody up quick, and they don't have all the tools I think they need for it. I mean, you can focus a lot of people down, but Li Ming's got escapes. Tychus has got escapes. Dahaka has got a lot of health bars, so it's going to be a rougher road for them to try and make everything work, especially with a peel tank like Diablo.
Totally agree with you on that assessment. So,
heroes, prepare for combat.
Wrong scene there. Sorry, folks, but here we are. It is game number 1 on Dragonshire. On the left-hand side, we have Uncomfortably Numb. Playing the Hanzo is going to be Mr. Monkey Man. Kicknaz is going to be on that Greymane Famous once again, playing the ETC just like last week. Patch is going to be on the Uther, and Leoric going to be played by the Spectre.
All right, and on the side of Winston Churchill Manatees, we've got Foundrinth on the Malfurion. We've got K-Wolf 55 playing the Diablo, Grover playing the Tychus, Separate Deer on the Dahaka, and finally, we've got Locke on that Li Ming.
I want to correct myself. I called him the Spectre. It's actually THC Spectre, so 420 blaze it in chat.
Yeah, or Thick Spectre, perhaps. No, it's almost certainly a weed joke.
All right, so looking at the level 1 talents, we do see Greymane go into Viciousness at level 1, which I think is kind of turning into the new meta for Greymane since his rework.
Yeah, that's definitely true. You definitely do not see cocktail building more. I've seen a lot of people take the other W talent, which allows you to have a lower cooldown per hit, but I usually only see it on like things like Battlefield of Eternity.
Yeah. So we're seeing the rotation. It's coming out quickly from Winston Churchill. The other side, looks like they're sticking with the 2-2. We do have a little opportunity for a kill here on the ETC, and they do secure it. First blood going over to Winston Churchill.
Fantastic job there by K-Wolf and Foundrinth comboing that Diablo Malfurion Flip. That is a classic combination. We're going to see it in full effect this game.
Yeah, the roots are just so good. You really can't get out of it, especially if you're ETC. You're just stuck in a burst from Li Ming, gonna secure that kill very easily. So back to my point, Winston Churchill doing a great job of rotating between these lanes. Uncomfortably Numb is staying comfortable in their 2-2 setup in these 2 lanes here. So we'll see if that changes. First camp looks like it's gonna go over to Uncomfortably Numb, and maybe that'll kind of change the landscape a bit.
Yeah, and it looks like Leoric is getting a little bit bodied up here in the solo lane.
I'm surprised. I think if Leoric's hitting the spooky tongue, he should really have control of that. If obviously the burrow can negate the damage from sticking, but
yeah,
Leoric, if he swipes and then Qs and QW, like, he should be good.
Yeah, he had to tap there for a second. Ooh, Locke in trouble.
Locke did get connected by a famous power slide, able to scoot away with the blink, and now it looks like the bottom altar here is going to be picked up from... No, it is not, because ETC says, moo moo, get out of my way. But they're going to kind of trade position here. I think this Siege camp was a great pickup early during this, and it's going to help Siege and keep control of the spot side.
Yeah, meanwhile, in the solo lane, Leoric has turned the tables and is sending Dahaka with his tail behind his legs home. So he's going to have to burrow back in to get top, and they're going to get both Shrines here from the moment.
Checking out talents, looks like Leoric finally picked up Paralyzing Rage, going to help his skeletal swing range, and We finally saw a pick come out from Li Ming. It's going to be Dominance at level 4.
Yeah, that's becoming a much more popular talent at the moment.
So the more kills they get, the more health she gets. And this could be a kill on ETC once again. Can Tychus get a grenade in there? Is it going to come out? No, it won't. Grover not able to secure that. They are able, however, to secure both the top and the bottom shrines, as I see Tahaka up top grabbing that away from Leoric. But mid control.
Yeah, Leoric's out of mana.
Oh, yeah, it looks like he is. And mid control did go over to Uncomfortably Numb as Diablo had to back up a bit.
Looks like we got Locke caught out. The roots are not quite there in time.
Yeah, and the stun from Uther, though. Locke's still in trouble. Gonna be able to scoot away. Health now up to a quarter because you do have Malfurion nearby. But yeah, that was really close. I'm surprised they didn't finish that off.
Yeah, Li Ming was definitely fearful for her life for sure. That was a huge power slide though coming out from Famous, who's playing an excellent game so far.
Yeah, and obviously last week he must have been playing just as well, moving past Onslaught there in the first round of the playoffs here. Famous really is going to have to continue that trend if they want to get past this offensive attack really from the Tychus and the Li Ming here.
Looking around here, I think you've got, I mean, you see right now Li Ming's just sitting in the back and poking, and that's really just what Winston Churchill Manatees comp is trying to do. She's not quite landing all the orbs and missiles that she wants, but, you know, that's going to be an issue if she starts hitting those.
Yeah, and it's tough because Uther, very mana-dependent healer. The more he has to focus on keeping ETC up here, hitting all the damage from ETC hitting him, it's just going to end up being that Uther's going to have to back up and get mana, and then this is really going to swing back over to the other side.
Yeah. Interesting point here, though. Hanzo, Mr. Monkey Man, going for Q build here. I've seen that a lot more in Div C lately.
Yeah, so his target practice is at 3 of 5. I don't think he's had a chance to go visit Dahaka at all yet, so that's definitely one of them. And maybe the other is the Li Ming? I can't really tell from where I'm at here. Can you see?
I have no idea. I don't know that it actually has information on the observing on all that stuff, so.
Yeah, you're probably right.
So they're going to go ahead and grab that camp. That camp's going to do a lot pushing bottom here, and they're going to come in and invade on their camp.
I do like this invade. It is going to be Diablo falling before he has his full stacks. He's only at 59, so now 1 kill for each side, and that is a successful steal, along with the capture of their own. So 2 siege camps pushing down the bot lane. One's going to get cleared up easily by Winston Churchill Manatees. The other one, however, is going to help control this bot side, and now they're able to move up top onto this Dahaka. There's going to be a power slide, followed up by Greymane. Can they get the kill on Separate here? And they do. So,
wow, that was a killer bait by THC Spectre. Pretending like he was hurt, he knew the rest of his team was rotating up to the shrine, and he got Dahaka to chase him into dangerous territory.
Unfortunately, Uther's not going to be able to hold this bottom side by himself, but now Famous and Mr. Monkey Man are showing up, so Patch is going to be able to stand on that. And then the top's going to switch right back over.
A smart rotation there by Tychus, by Grover. Good call there to bring somebody up there to prevent the DK.
Yeah, wonderful play. Separate Deer is now back, clearing up mid. They are down that talent tier. It looks like Greyman's holding his, but we do see a Mosh Pit, a Divine Shield, the Entomb, and the Dragon's Arrow. So a little bit of wombo combo if they can connect on the Dragon's Arrow and the Mosh Pit.
Yeah. Very much so. I'm looking forward to that. And there's going to be a while before they get into 10s, but here's a 2 versus 1 in mid.
Yeah, the action is all over the place. There's a skirmish on the bottom, there's a skirmish in the mid. Up top, we see Leoric gathering that altar once again. So now it is in possession of Uncomfortably Numb. Can they get the cap? ETC trying to hold the bot side as long as he can, but there's no room at mid for Greymane to go cap that.
Yeah, I'm very surprised that Uncomfortably Numb has not rotated down bottom and tried to force things with the 10 talent tier advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. You get the 10, you gotta play the advantage, and it's just really ETC taking all the damage to his face and trying to get healed up. There's a Dragon's Arrow, followed by a Power Slide, jumped in by Greymane. K-Wolf gonna barely get away until the Mosh Pit hits him. Interrupted, though, by the Twilight Dream of Malfurion. And all the while, Winston Churchill Manatees were able to sneak the first Dragon Knight of the game, Ghost.
Oh my goodness, Uncomfortably Numb. Oh, ETC gets caught up by Diablo, and insult to injury. ETC goes down here. That was an amazing play here coming from Winston Churchill Manatees. Diablo survived just long enough for everyone else on the map to make plays happen. And that Diablo gank down there. You saw ETC go in for the Mosh. Uther's Divine Shield came out not quite in time, so excellent reaction time there coming out from Malfurion, able to avoid the holy cow Mosh Pit.
And give it up to K-Wolf, hitting that APOC and having his team secure that kill behind it. That's not easy, getting that like pretty much naked APOC to hit.
Yeah, and I'm very surprised we're not seeing Leoric off soaking here for the side of Uncomfortably Numb. Mr. Monkey Man.
Yeah, getting close to trouble, and it's actually K-Wolf who gets just bodied in by Famous there on ETC, and now the Entomb connecting on the 2. There's another fat stun gonna hit, and Falendrith gonna fall. Separate Deer on the Dahaka trying to skate away. Grover popping out of the Dragonite, getting leaped on quick by Greymane, and that's another kill. So counter kills coming out from Uncomfortably Numb right now.
Uncomfortably Numb playing that very, very well. That the Dragon Knight was able to get the ETC got blocked in by roots there, and like rather the ETC got rooted and it was able to body block his own teammate, and so the Malfurion roots in kind of a way hurt their own team.
Yeah, that was pretty nuts. Famous was standing there. K-Wolf was trying to get out with his fat body. Ended up losing all of his souls. So Diablo back at 0 right now. And we're almost just passing the 9-minute mark. Yeah, and 13's now online for Uncomfortably Numb.
Yeah, and also you saw there in that fight, I think it gives me a clue as to what they expect in their team comp. So the Hanzo Q able to get a damage on a ton of people. Leoric puts up that Entomb, and the Hanzo Q is going to do a ton of damage to whoever is in there. And you saw the health bars just sort of disappearing in that counter engage.
Yeah, absolutely, you're right. The explosive arrows coming into play when you're stacked up on the enemy team, and that's a talent from Hanzo. You got to be careful. Right now, it's a power slide onto Diablo.
Oh.
The Mosh Pit connecting, as well as a cleanse onto ETC. They're going to pick up the Malfurion. K-Wolf now trying to escape, will not. Diablo also going to fall, so a 2-for-0 pickup there for Uncomfortably Numb going into the Shrine phase.
Yeah, and able to catch Diablo out there. So the double heroic comes out, a surprise synergy between Entomb and Mosh Pit. As Mosh Pit grabs one, Entomb grabs the other. They kill them both. Greymane go for the throat to finish off Diablo. Excellently played there by Uncomfortably Numb.
And well timing on this bottom camp here, this Bruiser will be pushing out during the Shrine, so it's going to give them plenty of opportunity to work on this bottom side. And we do see up top Famous waiting in the bush to make a play onto Separate Deer. He's going to opt to just go mid and keep soaking this lane out, it looks like. Oh, wait, they got the dragon. Famous is in this. They got it. First Dragon Knight for Uncomfortably Numb. That's one apiece now.
Yeah, it looks like they opted Winston Churchill Manatees to go 4-man and protect against this Night Camp pushing in, but they weren't able to push in fast enough to grab the bottom shrine.
There's a little bit of trouble up top for Uncomfortably Numb. There's a little bit of a Bruiser camp pushing there, but Leoric should be able to handle that. Really, you got to look at this bottom side right now, because if this Dragon Knight can match what happened during the first phase where Winston Churchill had it, I think that's exactly what Uncomfortable Numb needs to get back into this game fully.
Yeah, smart play coming out here for Uncomfortably Numb, waiting for this wave to step up and take the fort damage instead of the dragon taking most of it, and they're going to step up onto this fort and start getting it down. But they're really doing a good job of getting this dragon low. Yeah,
Tychus is really good at killing the Dragon Knight. His minigun does full damage to it. There's really no other hero outside of Leoric that can do such a thing. Malthael, I guess, but that percentage damage is huge on this map from Tychus.
Yeah, so it looks like they're just sort of waiting for another wave to come in here. I don't know if they're even going to be able to get a fort off of this.
No, he's too low. He's only got 10 seconds left now. K-Wolf is doing a great job on the front line, making room for the Leeming and the Tychus, and it's pretty much wasted. There's nothing to be able to do here except try to get what they can. They end up with the wall at mid, which, I mean, really, it's not a terrible trade, but they didn't get a fort, and that's what was able to happen during the first Dragon Knight we saw.
Yeah, and it looks like, speaking of Uncomfortably Numb's comp, like they have a surprising amount of siege between Greymane and the Hanzo and the Leoric for the wave clear, but the Li Ming and the Tychus is just too strong of an anti-siege tool for them to deal with it so far.
You're exactly right. We do see now a siege coming out from Uncomfortably Numb, and they're looking to invade with their 16 talents. I really like this play. Very aggressive by Famous. Someone needs to check that bush because K-Wolf is waiting there. Will it slide in? And there it is with the APOC. K-Wolf able to steal that away. Not going to get any kills yet. Tychus Laser is down. Famous flipped over the wall. And a huge just jump in there. Well, the Entomb connecting, the Twilight Dream coming out. So now Silence is out onto the Leoric. He's going to fall. A 2-for-1 now in favor of Winston Churchill. Crazy fight down a talent here, Ghost.
Absolutely. I can't believe they engaged like that. They got a good combo onto the ETC, but an excellent cleanse by Uther was able to save the ETC out. But as ETC went away, they no longer had both of their tanks to take the brunt of the job. So ETC might as well not have been in that fight after the initial attack there by Diablo.
I missed what sent him over the wall there behind the siege.
Diablo went to flip ETC to put him back into his team, but he ended up on top of him and flipped him over the wall to safety.
Oh my god, that is nuts interaction there. Nonetheless, they do get the double kill. They do get the camp. And now we see the shrines are activating in 20 seconds. Famous trying to get a little bit of vengeance for that last one.
Yeah.
Playing really far up front here.
Yeah, the Malfurion routes are really rough for HCC, whose only escape is that slide. So excellent pick of Malfurion into that ETC there.
Do want to throw a shout out to Chat Norian. I see you out there, my friend. Thank you for the 2 bits and hanging out today during this Division C East semifinal matchup. Now we see a camp coming out, a bruiser camp for Uncomfortably Numb, and Kicknaz is going to help his Leoric up top onto this Dahaka, as well as Famous at patches. Oh, this is going to be a kill. You have the power slide and the stun, and they use a Dragon's Arrow. I think that's a little bit of overkill coming out from Mr. Monkey Man. Mr. Monkey Man
showing off there, timing Dahaka's unburrow precisely at the right time for him not to be able to get away with his E. Did he go for the E where you can burrow and then move around?
No. He went for elongated tongue, which I think is another good talent, but obviously not able to get that extra escapability that he likes.
Yeah, so they're not going to lose a whole lot. They're going to be able to rotate up here top and take this, but meanwhile, this fort is dead.
Yeah, I love they see that they're top. Let's siege down this, and I'd love to even see it continue further if they can here, because that was a very big misstep, sending so many resources top, knowing that that fort was on the verge of falling. They're going to trade out bruiser camps here too.
Yeah, and here you see the big value Greymane brings to any composition. They're able to take down that fort in no time, and then a camp right on top of it before they can even respond.
Famous holding the triangle here, waiting. He has vision on the enemy team, waiting for his own to show up, but the Dragon's Arrow is just now coming off cooldown, so an engage could be happening right here. Famous getting flipped over by Diablo. Monkey trying to put some damage on the backline, not able to. A great APOC, gonna stun out too. The cleanse coming out onto Greymane. Will he get the finish? But there's a huge arrow by Monkey Man. He had it that time, and the damage coming out onto K-Wolf. He only has 83 souls, so he's gonna be on full cooldown here, Ghost.
Oh, K-Wolf pushed back, and he's going to be gone for 43 whole more seconds. That was a really rough engage coming out from Diablo. He was looking, I think, for the stun against one of the walls in the bushes there, but he wasn't able to find it. Instead, he pushed himself into danger. Malfurion had to root the choke to prevent Uncomfortably Numb from pushing it and killing their backline while Diablo was isolated.
The laser coming down from Tychus, not enough to do much, but they are able to help out there and get the kill onto the Dahaka. So now you have a cooldown used by Tychus, did absolutely nothing. You lost your solo laner in Dahaka and your only form of a front line right there. So the first keep of the game falling, and it's Uncomfortably Numb reaching level 20, Ghost.
Yeah, it's rough. It's a real rough road right now for Winston Churchill Manatees. They are 2 levels down. They're going to be getting a DK. There's no way they can stop him from getting the Dragonite short of a 4v5 down to level 20, which I don't think they want to take. And you see here, the comp of Winston Churchill Manatees, as soon as Diablo's dead, their synergy kind of falls apart. In order to protect that keep, they are able to come down here and get. Is the channel gonna? Oh.
Yeah, Dahaka, great job of getting on that bottom as soon as you could. They do pick up Tychus. It's just Greymane is sick right now.
I don't know. Yeah, the Kicknaz is Kicknaz right now. Greymane, Tychus stepped up there. I don't know that he had to actually step up there to get the interrupt, but it was a little too close for comfort there.
Ghost, I got to admit, you just made me figure out what his name is. It is Kickin' Ass. And I was calling him Kicknaz. Oh my god. Alright, so another Dragonite is going to be picked up by Uncomfortably Numb. They're looking to go straight core from the looks of it, walking right to the bottom lane where that keep is already finished. Level 20 is online and not for Winston Churchill Manatees. With Tychus down for 14 seconds, this push will be their first opportunity at putting some damage on this core.
Yeah, he's going to be able to get up and running before they get onto the court itself, but it's going to be really rough. At 17 minutes, this Dragon Knight's fairly hard, and with the Greymane on core, this is going to be real tough. They're going to be looking at killing this Greymane as soon as possible. But with the Dragon Knight...
Yeah, D-Shield's still available from Uther if he wants to put it on the Greymane. Patches needs to stay safe. There's a huge D-Shield onto the Mosh Pit, though. They're going to pick up a kill on the Haka, and it's Diablo falling low, as well as Tychus on the backside. Another cleanse coming on to the Leoric, it looked like, and this is just really easy picking for the Dragon Knight. GG, well played. Ghost,
yeah,
what a game.
That was intense, man. I tell you, though, that Greymane and the Dragon Knight, once they have both, they will clear anything up super quick. That core absolutely melted, and there was nothing they could do. The ETC Mosh Pit was right in place. Nobody was really able to stop it in time. An excellent Twilight Dream coming out from Malfurion there at the end, but it was not enough, as they weren't able to put enough damage onto everybody before they died.
All right, so we're going to take a short break in between maps here, and we will be right back for game number 2 here between Uncomfortably Numb and the Winston Churchill Manatees. Stay with us. All right, we are back here. I have everyone in the lobby a little bit early. But here we are. We are going to be going to Towers of Doom. Let me make sure I have this set up on my overlay for that. All right, Towers of Doom set up. And let's just take a look here in chat to make sure everyone's ready. Ghost, what do you think about this map?
This map is the choice of Uncomfortably Numb, right?
Uncomfortably Numb. Well, it was Winston Churchill decided on first pick, and then Uncomfortably Numb chose this, so yeah.
I think this definitely makes sense for Uncomfortably Numb. They showed some really strong rotations on Dragonshire, which is probably the most fundamental rotational map in the game, so I really expect a lot out of them coming from this map pick. I'm very interested to see what the first pick is going to be and how Winston Churchill Manatees grabs their comp and what order they do it in, because they opted for first pick after that loss.
Yeah, and we saw in game one, they had won the coin toss and they chose map and they wanted to go to Dragonshire. So losing on their own map selection was not what they wanted in game number one. Looks like teams are ready. We're going to head into the draft. Let's get this started.
Okay. And I wonder if they're going to keep the same kind of comp, because the style of composition that Winston Churchill had actually kind of works here. If Li Ming works, you replace the Li Ming with a Chromie. It still worked out, but the more poke style compositions work very well on this map.
Yeah, they got off to a great start. I'm surprised they weren't able to keep that momentum rolling. They got the first fort down of the game as well as that Dragon Knight first. It was really just a great play, I think, by Famous, making it happen with the ETC. The Divine Shields were on point when they wanted to with the Mosh. It was really good timing of both those abilities.
Yeah, I think Winston Churchill Manatees never really let their plan sort of work out, because Li Ming, I don't think she got any resets. I can't remember her really being a big influence in the team fights. So you never really had a situation where they were able to sort of hold Uncomfortably Numb where they wanted them to be so Li Ming could get work done.
Yeah, I think you're right. The Li Ming really didn't get all of her kit, especially when she took that dominance at level 4. We didn't see it really come into play, getting super effective with the healing that it provides. This time, they're not messing with Hanzo, banned right away.
Yeah, and I think in the last game too, Winston Churchill Manatees, they didn't get enough done as early as possible, and once they hit 13-16 with a Leoric, you saw the game immediately swing over towards Uncomfortably Numb, and I think a lot of that is the Li Ming damage. I think they're really dependent on her. They were dependent on her as the majority of her damage. Do you remember if Tychus went bigger they are, or if he went in the rhythm?
I really don't remember. I feel like I want to say bigger they are, but not 100% sure.
Yeah, that talent could have been key, I think, for them and their success, maybe changing one out for the other there. Or if they didn't go either of them, that would have, I think, been an actual mistake by them.
I do want to say thank you for the follow, Spell Songs. Thank you for hanging with us here tonight. We are going to see a Maiev ban come out from Uncomfortably Numb. Obviously, no one wants to play against that hero. It's just broken as all hell right now. The Umbral Bind is one of the craziest talents in the game as a basic ability. I'm not messing with that hero.
Yeah, Maiev, I mean, even the Warden's Cane just got its applications. She, in competitive, I would say she's incredibly strong and broken. But she is a high skill cap hero, though, so you don't see her, I don't think, is quite as strong in solo queue and such.
Sure, yeah. Here in semifinals, don't want to risk it. They do want to take away, however, that ETC. Famous not going to be on his getting famous ETC play. It's going to be picked up by Winston Churchill Manatees.
Yeah, they found that cow pretty tough to deal with in the last game, I bet, and they said immediately we went first pick, but here comes Uncomfortably Numb.
Oh, you guys on stream see me clapping because it's Malfurion and Tracer. This combination was insane during the HGC Western Clash last weekend. I absolutely love it. I've fallen completely in love with it. Tracer is fully entrenched in this meta right now, and when paired with Malfurion, it is insanely unstoppable.
When the one thing for Winston Churchill Manatees have going for them is they've got 4 more heroes that they can pick into this. So it's going to be rough, though, because Onslaught, when facing Uncomfortably Numb, they did not have an answer for this combination in either game.
And taking away the Maiev with the ban, it's even that much better. That's one of the heroes that can really shut it down. Now, really, what are you gonna do up against it? You're not gonna take a taunt variant into Tracer. It's so hard to pull that sort of style off.
Yeah, it's rough. ETC with a taunt variant into Tracer could potentially work. I mean, it's not bad, but they're still going to go for the Tyrael and the Greymane.
This is looking full dive, and I'm personally not a fan. They have Malfurion on the other side with a Twilight Dream ready for it.
Yeah.
It's going to be really hard to get in there if they're going to go Judgment on Tyrael and then jump in with... It's just, you're going to get Twilight Dreamed, and it's going to be all over.
Yeah, this is really Tyrael versus Malfurion. Who can hit the R button the best? Because Tyrael Sanctification will completely nullify a Twilight Dream, and a Twilight Dream will interrupt Sanctification, putting it on a 10-second cooldown.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'd love to see a little bit of point and click. Maybe we get like a Kael'thas coming out to round out that side, just to put some living bombs onto Tracer to keep her at ease a bit from just freely attacking the backline. But I don't think Tyrael's necessarily the answer yet for what they're looking for.
Yeah, I think this is more Winston Churchill Manatees saying, we have a plan and we're going to stick with it. We wanted Tyrael Greymane from the beginning. I think this is the 3 tiers that they wanted, and they said, well, we'll deal with Tracer and Malfurion in our next 2 picks.
So, Ghost, a hero we haven't seen yet today, one of the newest heroes is Blaze. I haven't seen him come down at all tonight. We do see an Abathur ban, though.
I want Blaze on the side of... Uncomfortably Numb. I think that would be very good for them. The one weakness that you have with Tracer is that your wave clear is very much lowered in your composition, and a Blaze is going to be just the ticket for that.
100% agree. They could even go into having like Gul'dan on their team right here. Anything, you're right. Tracer's just not going to have the wave clear. Malfurion, since he was reworked, doesn't have wave clear at all himself. So they really need to focus these last 3 picks on wave clear. And if I'm Winston Churchill, I'm noticing that right now, and I'm going to ban away some of those heroes right now.
I mean, Gul'dan ban.
Perfect. It's perfect ban.
My
It's exactly
God.
what I wanted them to ban right there.
Oh, I've never been jinxed so hard in a draft before in my life. That was insane. Yeah, Gul'dan for Uncomfortably Numb. It's going to allow them wave clear. It's going to give them a horrify target against a diving ETC Tyrael and Greymane into a Tracer. So excellent ban coming out from them.
Yeah, very heads up. There's still a few heroes left that they can get. I'd still like the Blaze like we talked about.
Even an Arthas too, instead of a Blaze, to go up against the Greymane. Arthas is an excellent soft counter to Greymane.
No, 100% agree there as well. Providing the lockdown with the roots from Malfurion could be pretty good for them. They still need another form of putting damage onto the front line a little bit, because Tracer is not going to be wanting to hit the tanks as much. She wants to get around onto that Greymane and whoever else is coming for the back line.
Yeah, I think Blaze is a good answer for that.
Yeah, Blaze, he's such a good all-around hero. You can put him in the tank role, you can put him in the solo lane. It's going to be a solo lane Malfield, and the tank's going to be Johanna.
Ooh, I'm not sure what to think about this. Tracer is going to have to, I think, really step it up here, because Johanna just sort of keeps people busy. There's a serious lack of engage on the side of Uncomfortably Numb at this point.
I'm wondering if they're uncomfortably numb at playing Arthas, because I don't see Johanna as being better than Arthas in this spot right here. There's so much more engaged potential Arthas can provide with the Howling Blast. You do get the Blessed Shield at 10 with Johanna. And for myself speaking, Johanna is one of my most played tanks. I really love her kit, but in terms of engage, she just doesn't really have it. And having a Malfield and a Tracer, you might want more of that lockdown.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they're going to be going for. I mean, Malthael, you assume last rights here. Is Malthael just we need % damage against these 2 tanks?
Maybe. I have chat saying maybe an Uther is going to come out here for some Tyrael Uther cheese here on Towers of Doom. Wouldn't mind seeing that.
That's always fun. Hey!
There it is! Norian coming out with the call, Uther and Kael'thas. And Kael'thas is what I mentioned before, putting those living bombs on the Tracer, so I definitely like that pick as well.
Yeah, Kael'thas for the living bombs, and Greymane as an auto attacker. Greymane, I think, is underrated as a ranged auto attacker, and against a Tracer, that's, I think, what you really want.
Yeah, so 2 pretty cool picks there. If they do pull up the Sanctification and Divine Shield cheese onto the altar shrines that they're trying to capture, it's cheesy, but if they're late in the game and they need that last one, it's the way to go.
It's always an option in very tight situations. Desperate times call for desperate measures.
Yeah, absolutely. They are 2 pretty long cooldowns, so they have to make sure it is timed out properly. One pick left. I think they need a little bit of beef, man. They need some front line, and Blaze is still an option.
It's rough though because they picked up the Kael'thas. I think they realize if they want a tank that's not Johanna, if they want another frontliner, Kael'thas is going to be able to punish Malthael, Johanna, and whoever this other pick is pretty heavily with his flame strikes.
Yeah, and they go with Chromie, which we talked about pregame. That having the poke potential onto the shrine pickups, it's pretty cool. But
yeah, this is really rough. You grab a Tracer, you grab a Chromie. They are really putting a lot of trust into that Tracer being able to do a lot of damage, because you look at the comp of Winston Churchill Manatees: ETC, dive; Tyrael, dive; Greymane, dive; Uther, dive. And you have Johanna, who's probably one of the worst peel tanks in the game, and 3 really squishy damage dealers.
I think 100% I'm giving this to Winston Churchill Manatees. Love their composition. I think
same here.
You had such a great start from Uncomfortably Numb with the Malfurion and the Tracer, but I'm not a fan of these last 3 picks coming out.
Yeah, that said, Uncomfortably Numb, this vote was done pregame, but all 4 people who bothered to visit our straw poll that I linked up in the chat have voted for Uncomfortably Numb. So a 4-0 unanimous decision here for Uncomfortably Numb.
Prepare yourself.
All right, on the left-hand side, once again, we have the winners of game number 1. It is Uncomfortably Numb. Mr. Monkey Man switching from Hanzo over to Tracer, kicking ass playing on that Malfurion. Famous gonna play Johanna. Pilot of Earth, I believe, is new to this matchup, is going to play the Malthael, and Patches onto that Chromie.
The battle begins.
And on the side of the Gravekeeper, we've got Winston Churchill Manatees with K-Wolf 55 on the ETC, Locke on the Greymane, Grover on the Kael'thas, Foundrinth on the Uther, and Separate Deer on the Tyrael.
So, Ghost, they subbed out THC Spectre for Pilot of Earth, so they're changing up their solo lane player here. Is this?
Yeah,
this is pretty
that's a
weird.
strategy. I actually think that's a strategy of theirs, just dealing with a different person and being able to run a different composition, a different style composition in both games. I mean, they've moved Kick and Ass from Greymane over to Healer, but they did this in the game against Onslaught as well.
Yeah, you won game 1. I thought Leoric played pretty well up against the Haka. Maybe they just want to make sure everyone feels welcome on this team, but it's going to be a new solo laner, and this is something we have to keep our eyes on.
Yeah, this is the exact same heroes and exact same people against Onslaught. They switched out a Leoric for a Malthael in the game against Onslaught, and they won both games there, so it could work again.
Okay, well, that is the scouting on that. Right now, you do see K-Wolf holding this bush here, waiting for rotation, doesn't see it. He's going to get in the aggressive bush now on that Siege Camp side. Is Mr. Monkey Man going to walk right past us with Chromie, waiting for his team? No one's there if he wants to hit this power slide, so he's not going to bother to take it.
Yeah, I think he's just sort of dissuading them from taking that camp too early so that they have sort of camp superiority as these pumpkins start to push in bottom here.
And as we know on Towers of Doom, the team that can control this bottom lane will control the outcome of the entire match here. So already Sappers picked up for Winston Churchill, and now they're looking to make an aggressive push onto the Siege Camp on the side of Uncomfortably Numb.
Yeah, I think this is points to another thing I hadn't noticed about Uncomfortably Numb's composition that I also don't like. They have almost nobody to take camps. And it's going to be really rough when these pumpkins keep pushing bottom. But there's some Chromie damage onto ETC.
And a pulse bomb finishing off the first kill of the game onto Kael'thas. Now chasing down Locke on the Greymane. That's going to be another kill. Tracer picking up the double, flexing early. Who cares about pumpkins when you're getting a double kill, Ghost?
Yeah, well, they did commit 5 people that, and I'm surprised to see Tyrael come down here instead of staying top and getting the extra soak up there in exchange for that double kill. Sort of moved down here a little too late, but Mr. Monkey Man's, he's earning his ticket here to this Tracer.
Absolutely. A little bit caught out here, got a recall, able to move away from it.
He's able to recall to the exact same spot.
Keeping an eye on the stacks from Chromie, only at 4 for now. But that's a hero later in this game, and as we know, Towers of Doom goes very late. That Chromie could start doing a lot of damage moving into the late game.
Yeah, and you see Wolfheart being picked up for Greymane. I think Greymane just wants to have his W up on his ranged attack against Tracer at all times here.
Yeah, that's true. Thick Skin also being picked up for extra physical armor up against Tracer as well. First altar spawning in 3 seconds here. It looks like an aggressive push on the top up against this Tyrael. Looks like they might get that aggressive side picked up for Uncomfortably Numb. Malthiel doing some zoning, and this bot side is being zoned out well by Chromie. So far, I really like what they're doing here.
Yeah, you hope to see Winston Churchill Manatees punish them for leaving only 3 people down here.
They are able to capture the bottom altar. Tracer able to capture both of them up top, unless Separate Deer can get here with an Eldruins, and he does, but gonna pay with his life because there's another pulse. Whoa! Well, okay, finished off by Malthiel. Dude, I can't believe that pulse bomb didn't get it.
Oh, I know. That's Tyrell's beefy guy. Did he? I wonder if he got a shield off just before that.
Yeah, he must have. He must have.
Still, that's being said, they're going to go ahead and grab this pumpkin camp here right away. Famous going to go and walk right up and check it out.
And Famous gonna be all by himself, kicking ass. Gonna show up, throw down some roots to scare him away. Now Patch is gonna show up on Chromie. This is gonna be a successful steal. Famous getting really gutsy there. Wait, a power slide holding it at 95%. And K-Wolf could pay with his life here. Only 275-10. He's gonna fall. And Tracer is not done. Falendrith on Uther, no mana, in trouble. Will they chase in for the kill? They will not.
Oh, they managed to body block those pumpkins to go the short way to get right on that fort there. Very interesting coming out from them. But Tracer and Chromie here shows you why they picked them. They're very much, I believe, comfort heroes for both these players, as they're just killing it on both of them.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen the pumpkins do that. That's a first for me.
Yeah.
We are seeing a little bit of the clear on the sappers from Tracer, but as we know, this will take a long time.
Yeah.
And
you can do it without getting hurt.
Well, yeah, that's true. We do know the next altar will be in the bottom side, actually the middle side, if you want to call it the middle. Which will be right next to where the sapper camp is. So teams are getting ready. 7s are online now. 8s picked up for Uncomfortably Numb. And level 7 finally online for Winston Churchill. So 1 level lead. They are on equal talent here. What do you like about these talents?
Let me check them out here. I do like Burned Flesh here because that, as I said before, you're dealing with a lot of melee heroes. A very interesting build coming out for Tyrell, going Divine Vigor instead of Swift Retribution here. Pretty standard stuff from ETC. Pinball Wizard, a little bit rarer. Chromie going Dragon's Eye here. She's been able to hit those W's, so I do like that talent for her. I think she's going to get a lot of value out of that, just like there.
Yeah, connecting with the Dragon's Eye on the K-Wolf. A power slide, not connecting onto anyone. Now he's exposed. The roots are going to miss from kicking ass. Chromie's the only source of damage that's doing much work in this fight. A pulse bomb gonna connect on EDC, but he was shielded there, so he's able to survive thanks to Tyrael. And now that altar was picked up, however, by Uncomfortably Numb, they're ready to move back out of this fight.
Yeah, and I had gripes about their draft, but Uncomfortably Numb proving me right about their choice of this map. They're just absolutely out-rotating Winston Churchill Manatees here.
Yeah, even with the securing of the camps, which we've seen early from Winston Churchill, they're just not able to really move across the map as fluidly as they should. This mid lane's been left a lot. The top lane right now, we see neither team soaking there. They're really putting prioritization on the bot lane, which I don't hate, but they need to make sure they're soaking everywhere else.
Yeah, they have a long way to go before level 10. They're going to have a full level lead and be dealing with Uncomfortably Numb really getting a lot done here. They've gotten a lot done without 10, and imagine them with a talent tier advantage here.
And we already do see the ultimate picked up from Chromie. It's going to be slowing Sands, so we'll see if that comes out. Huge Dragon's Eye connecting there onto Locke, and now Pulse Bomb going to drop both of them because the ETC was standing within the range of that Pulse Bomb, so he took some damage from it too. Valendrift going to be the next to fall. It's a triple kill coming out from Uncomfortably Numb. Tracer getting 2 of those.
Yeah, they're having a real hard time on the side of Winston Churchill Manatees making their composition work. They don't seem to be positioning for the strength of their composition. You had Kael'thas all the way back, but Greymane was right in front, and ETC just can't take enough damage without Tyrael there to fight in the 4-man.
And with 10s online, I would love to see an aggressive push here out of Uncomfortably Numb. Really put your foot on the throats of Winston Churchill. And we do see Johanna and Malthiel up on the aggressive side. They're going to wait for Malfurion to pick up their own before they make the full push and commitment onto this. Now we see Johanna is able to zone some. Oh, I did not see that bot side. Looks like Tracer fell.
Yeah, I wasn't paying attention either. 3 people come down here to stop Tracer from pushing here all alone. She wasn't able to get out quick enough. And here you see, I think, the Greymane pick coming out. The Greymane talent and pick have been done exclusively against Tracer, as you see him going for Quicksilver bullets here, giving him the extra range.
So as we talked pregame during, oh wait, we do have a power slide and a mosh pit hitting 3 members. There's gonna be the Phoenix dropping onto all of them, and now a big leap in by Greymane, gonna get the first kill there, and 2 of them actually. They take out the Chromie and the Malthael, and it's gonna be Johanna escaping behind the wall with the Iron Skin. And what a freaking mosh pit there by ETC, man! Wow.
Oh. Winston Churchill Manatees finally taking some aggression, finally making some decisive plays there. With Tracer down, they get aggressive. They see the opportunity for a mosh pit. They hit 3 people, and they bring down the right people. Malfurion tried to get a Twilight Dreamer, not able to quite make it happen.
So I was trying to make the point that we talked pregame about the Sanctification and the Divine Shield being an option to cheese out some of these altars. So keep that in mind, viewers. We might see it later on in this game. But right back in it in terms of XP is Winston Churchill Manatees with that exclusive play by ETC that only the cow can make.
Yeah, and they're going to go ahead and take this camp here. And before I was saying, they don't really have any camp takers on the side of Uncomfortably Numb. Their camp takers are Winston Churchill Manatees. They seem to be letting them just take these pumpkin camps and then walk in and then take them right back.
And we're seeing it right now. There's a slowing Sands onto the point with Famous moving forward, hitting a Condemn onto a lot of those members. A Phoenix is going to drop, but Iron Skin available for Johanna, able to move away. They steal away yet another Sapper camp here.
Yeah, this is really rough. They have so much point control with the Tracer and the Malfurion here. They're going to have a tough time fighting in a lot of these chokes if they don't start working better. And they need to use the Kael'thas to their advantage. Uncomfortably Numb has done a good job of staying out of the choke points and the flame strikes for the time being.
Yeah, and the poke onto these altars definitely favors Uncomfortably Numb with the Chromie and even the Malfurion. A D-Shield having to be used on Greymane in a retreat mode lock. Doesn't look like he has tap available either, so this is going to be a full positioning advantage for Uncomfortably Numb. Can there be another big mosh to come out? He has it off cooldown, although he's rooted right now. There's going to be a Last Rites taking out Tyrael, and they also take out the Malthael as well. No trait damage is going to do enough there for Tyrael. We did see it picked up, however, the altar by Uncomfortably Numb. They got both of those in that phase.
Yeah, if Winston Churchill Manatees can keep this kind of thing up and blow up that Malthael a lot sooner, they're going to have a lot more luck. But you saw the Greymane really just got neutered by the Tracer there. The Doggo went in sort of a desperation play, trying to get go for the throw onto the Tracer. And Tracer says, all right, you've become a Worgen. I'm just going to kite you all day.
So, Ghost, I'm a little disappointed. We had those new Storm Enforcer skins come out yesterday. Both these Greymanes tonight not using it. And we see Johanna also not using it. I'm a little sad, man.
Yeah, I'm a little sad. I can only say that these teams are nothing but cheapskates. They're not willing to fork out the gems and the money to get those fresh new skins right away.
Oh, yeah, man. So scouting the boss is ETC, and scouting that top Sapper camp was Malthael. It is going to be picked up by Winston Churchill Manatees. They're going to escort these into the wall, trying to get some damage of their own. And on the bottom side, while that was going on, a heads-up play by Uncomfortably Numb, picking up the first fort of the game, as well as having 2 Sappers here to push across the line, and they're looking to get 3 more.
Yeah, this is a rough call because I do like the fact that Winston Churchill Manatees sees that fort is almost dead and comes up and tries to get one of themselves, but they've lost 2 more shots with those pumpkins pushing all the way into core as the 3 altar comes up. So, 2 shots versus 3, it's a rough call with this 3 altar coming up. You don't want 15 shots going because that's checkmate.
And it's potentially 3 more shots because they're not going to be able to respond here to the camps that are coming down the lane right now. Tracer's also picking up the bottom. If this is picked up by Malfurion, it's pretty much GG. We do see Tracer and Malfurion both pick him up, now down to 2. A D-Shield has to come up because Last Rites was coming, and there's a huge mosh pit onto 3, but the Sappers in the bot lane able to cross the line. GG, well played.
And wow, Uncomfortably Numb goes up 2-0 by simply outplaying them on the map. Team fights, maybe they lost some, maybe they won some. They won just enough early on to snowball this map, and Winston Churchill Manatees tries to look for the winning team fight, but they just weren't able to channel all the altars right.
So being a best of 3, that is it. And your first representative on Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific is going to be Uncomfortably Numb. And you will see who will be facing them on Sunday right after this at 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific over on twitch.tv/forecourtjester. Well, I will be joining Jester to cast the match between Disbanded and Guys Gems for that opportunity to play against Uncomfortably Numb.
Yeah, and I got to give it up for Winston Churchill Manatees in these games. They played a really good set. They had some really good synergy in a lot of their team fights. They just weren't able to make what they had work in either case. So in this case, you had ETC, Tyrael, and Greymane going for the dive, but they just never were able to get onto the targets. I mean, you saw there, maybe even just the Malfurion roots, but the slowing sands as well, put them in a place where they weren't able to position themselves to get in there. And ETC couldn't even get in and interrupt Malfurion in that last altar.
You are exactly right. Ghost, do you want to do an interview? I got Famous set up. We're going to move over to the NGS channel and meet him.
Oh, yeah.
All right, cool. Let me close out of this. Head over to the NGS channel. All right, joining Ghost and I, it's Famous, the captain from Uncomfortably Numb, taking the 2-0, securing a spot into the finals. Famous, how do you feel right now, man?
Feeling pretty great. That was a hard-fought series.
Yeah.
A little closer than we might have liked in that first game, especially.
Game 1 was very close. It was, they had the lead early. They picked up the first Dragon Knight. They took down the first fort of the game. They had the first blood of the game. It was really all in their favor until just some huge, I don't know if it was misplays, but you had a huge body block onto a Diablo underneath your fort while they had a Dragon Knight. You were able to secure that kill, and that's when it all started swinging the other way.
Yeah, we just made some plays when we needed to, and I fed early, so that wasn't helpful. And we sorted it out. It was good. It was good.
I do have a question there about the draft on Towers Doom. Obviously, that's your guys' map pick, so you guys probably have something like this down. I was a little worried about your composition there. You have 3 melee going into something like a Kael'thas. You have only Johanna to deal with a comp as dive heavy as Tyrael, ETC, Greymane, and Uther. Were you guys worried about that? And what was sort of the talk in comms about how to deal with those sort of things?
Yeah, so absolutely, that was our big worry going into the game. But we figured that between Slowy Sands, the roots, and then the Johanna peels, that we'd be able to make a big enough wall so they wouldn't be able to get through that, and then Malfael might be able to clean up some kills along with our tracer. So I don't know, the different angle attacks and the solid front wall with Johanna and the CC.
Yeah.
But we were definitely worried about the CC train they had. So
you got to give it up to Mr. Monkey, man. Playing the Tracer tonight, had 5 kills in that game. A lot of them were just outstanding, like 2 double kills at least I saw. The pulse bombs, I don't think he missed any of them. Ghost, did you see a miss on the pulse bomb? I didn't.
I didn't see a single pulse bomb hit the ground, no.
Yeah, there's just the one misstep falling. We didn't actually catch it on the stream, but outside of that, Mr. Monkey, man, huge MVP there in game number 2.
Absolutely. He's a beast on that Tracer. We actually held off on drafting him on it all season just to break him out in the playoffs and catch some teams off guard. But I guess Winston watched last week and banned him the first game.
Yeah,
so they let him through this time. I do have a question actually about personal. Pilot of Earth you brought in to play Malfael, and who was it in the previous game that was playing Leora?
THC Spectre, right?
Yeah, THC Spectre. Is that a thing of like, we want everybody to play now, or is that like a strategic thing of, okay, this game we're going to play the Orc and this game we're going to have Pilot on Mal?
So I try and kind of do a little strategy, but it's a everybody gets to play kind of deal.
That's hella good, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And when it pays off like that and you get the 2 wins and everyone gets to participate, that's what NGS is all about, man. I really appreciate you guys doing that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. So I'm happy to oblige.
So looking forward to next week, or should I say Sunday night, where you will be playing in the Division C Grand Finals. You're going to be up against Disbanded or Guys Gems. Who do you have favored in that matchup?
I haven't really watched a ton of the West, to be quite honest. But I followed a little bit of Disbanded's kind of glory streak. So they're my pick to be through. I mean, they're the favorite match, right?
Well, if your scouting is going to start, it can start in 30 minutes because we're going to be live over on twitch.tv/forecourtjester. And of course, we would love to have you there, man. It was a very well played series tonight, and time to get to work for Sunday.
Yeah, I'd love to be there, but I actually got to run off to dorm, and then
Oh, good luck.
yeah,
Oh,
back-to-back
good luck.
games.
What team you play for in dorm?
University of Ottawa. Patches and I play for them.
Oh, nice.
And then Sunday we have our regional tournament, so that's going to be really awkward.
Yeah, dorm is starting to heat up, but also starting to heat up is Uncomfortably Numb, taking 2 victories already in this playoff streak, heading to the grand finals on Sunday. That's going to be all for us tonight. Signing off with ghostDunk and Famous. Oh, you have one more thing, Ghost?
No, I was gonna say, Famous got any shout-outs?
Yeah.
As always, we gotta shout out Click Esports, where we're playing all of our competitive matches with awesome internet and great atmosphere. Come check it out on Maryville Road if you're ever in Ottawa.
Is there any other social media you want people to know about?
You can check out Kickin' Ass's Twitch and Mr. Monkey's Twitch if you guys want to watch that.
And
that's it.
Of course, Ghost, you got to give your shout out too, man. You did a great job tonight.
yeah,
Thank you for filling in on short notice, by the way.
Oh, no problem, man. This has been a lot of fun. I love casting Division C. I'm glad to see Famous back here. It's nice casting you again. But yeah, my shout-outs. Shout out to my own team, Moto Miracle, who's hanging through it through the off season. We will be back in season 4, I believe. And shout out to everybody who stopped by and watched. Shout out to NGS. Shout out to both teams. And hey, shout out to Murda here for having me. Thank you so much, man.
My pleasure, as always. Ghost, you are a professional. I love hanging with you, man. You know, Moto Miracle, one of my favorite teams. You will get to see them play in the Regen Invitational, which will be happening on March 25th. It's going to be a huge event that my team's putting on, and we are really glad to have a lot of these NGS teams show up to participate in it. And Ghost, dude, I'm really stoked to have you in it.
I can't wait to play in it. Our first match is against a team I've never heard of, so I'm very excited to see how they play.
Yep, that's my buddy Sky Arch. He's a good guy. You'll have a lot of fun playing against them. But yeah, that'll be March 25th. It'll be over on a few different streams. Stay tuned. I'll try to get all the info out to all you people out there on Twitch. Any other final things we want to say before we leave here?
Oh, make sure to follow Murda so you can get all that information. And I can't wait. I can't wait for all that stuff. I love this video game.
This video game. Yes, more please.
Thanks for the cast, gentlemen. It's awesome.
Hey, man, anytime. I will actually be your caster on Sunday as well, so I'm very excited to see what's going to happen here in Div C.
Hype.
I'm an East Coaster myself, so like maybe I'm pulling for the East Coast, but...
Attaboy. Best in the West over here.
Right?
And the East. Hey.
All right, so signing off, it's myself, Murda, joined by ghostDunk and Famous, the captain from the winners tonight, Uncomfortably Numb. That's going to be it here for this Division C East semifinal matchup. GG's, well played. Good night.
Bye.